Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to an EVE Talk special where I want to take a look at the dev blog about the Citadels and take a quick look as well to see what the impact of that dev blog will have been on the market on the short term. There are a few groups of materials that will definitely have been impacted by this dev blog, and from what I've read in the comments on Reddit, it's definitely the Salvage that's been hit pretty hard. So let's sit down here, let's take a quick look at the dev blog itself. It's again on the community website, building your Citadel one block at a time. I'm not going to go too much into detail here, but this definitely details a lot of the plans that CCP has for the Citadels. One thing to keep in mind is that all of this is still subject to change. If they see like a real problem, something like a positive feedback loop on materials, for instance, they will of course fix that. They've already said that if you would reprocess a hull from a Citadel, you get nothing back. So that's actually quite punishing. If you want to make a Citadel, you'd better be damn sure that you'll be able to sell it or use it. Here are some of the details about things that they plan to have as materials needed to produce the structures and all of the different modules and rigs. So this is definitely a huge new economy that's going to come to EVE Online. It's probably the one thing that will have the biggest impact on the economy itself that I've been playing EVE Online as when that comes out, because you've got these structures which are absolutely mind-boggling. You've got all of those new modules, you've got the new service modules, you've got the rigs, and you have the new type of fuel blocks, which I think is actually a big one here. First of all, you've got something called a structure fuel block, which requires ice products and PI materials. But if I'm not mistaken, it basically requires all of the isotopes from the different races. So this is going to be decently expensive, and it's definitely going to have had an impact on the fuel market, I think. Other than that, we've got salvage for the rigs, and then you've got PI materials for the service modules, which I think is rather limited in impact. Then you've got minerals and again those fuel blocks for the modules, and you've got minerals, PI materials, and fuel blocks for the structure components and then the hull itself. So yeah, definitely a big chunk of economy that gets added to the game. Is going to take some time for all of this to actually get going, for there to be a decent market, which for us I think could be an opportunity to get in at the ground level. When it first comes out, you have to make the investments, but longer term this could be something that turns out to be a really good investment. So you'll have medium, large, and extra large. Let me see here. I'm not going to show you guys any of these details. If you want to go about that, like plan for your own Citadel, then I suggest you go to this dev blog, you write everything down, because there are already mineral lists, component lists, and all of that you will need for every different Citadel. But it would just take way too much time to cover that. It'll also give you like a ballpark of how much money you would need to save and things like that. One of the big things, of course, is the price of the blueprints, which is going to cost 10 times the expected hull price. That's absolutely huge. That means that a medium Citadel, which is expected to cost around 600 million, is going to be 6 billion for the blueprint original. The large Citadel, 70 billion for the blueprint original, and then the XL, 700 billion. That will really only put it in range of a few alliances and a few select individuals that are just insanely rich in EVE Online. For me personally, it also means that the large Citadel is not our first step. Because I think if you want that as fast as possible, you either need to buy the BPO or be very lucky, have contacts that will be able to get you a BPC for nothing. At first, these are going to be very expensive. So my personal plans have changed a little bit. We're first going to go for a medium Citadel. I'm also going to invest ISK in the blueprint originals of the Citadels, the modules, the service slots, all of that. I think it could be a good investment longer term, because the medium citadel is what will probably be used and produced the most, and then make it a bit of a goal to go for a large citadel. Why would I still want a large citadel? Because it's only in the large citadel that you'll be able to actually have a market. So the medium citadel is a bit more of a replacement of the POS, whereas a large citadel can already be outfitted a little bit like an outpost, have other people come in, trade, and from what I saw at the Vegas keynote, you will even be able to like tax people depending on their standings to you or whatever groups you want to form. And that is an absolutely amazing feature that I would like to have at some point. I think a large citadel, it's just not the citadel that I'm going for right off the bat, because I suspect that it's going to be extremely expensive to be amongst the first to get a large citadel. And if you wait it out a little bit, you save up, and then you go for the right blueprints copies that will be brought to the market later on in the months following the release, I think it could be a very big difference in price actually. Then here we've got some structure modules, so you've got defensive things. That's mostly like weapons, of course, to defend your citadel. Then you've got the rigs, which is going to, Tech 2 rigs will be there as well, which is going to cost Tech 2 Salvage. That market, we'll check that in a moment. That's going to be a really big impact. And then you'll have blueprints of all of those different modules, rigs, service slots, and the new fuel blocks, of course. So yeah, it's a major change to the market. So it begins the great market speculation of our time. This will be the biggest shock to the EVE economy in general in a long time. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens before, at the release, and how everything actually settles down, because we're talking a huge ISK sink with those blueprints. 700 billion for just a single blueprint. Can you imagine if that ever shows up on a kill mail? That's going to be crazy. You have a huge mineral sink as well, because producing all of that is going to be quite a bit of work. Then you've got the new fuel blocks. That's going to have an impact on fuel prices, on the running of bosses, on everything in general. Then the rigs, they are their own separate little market, and again, really big impact on that as well. So indeed. So it begins the great market speculation of our time, and let's take a quick look at some of these groups. Then I'll start out with I think what could be a very interesting one. Let's start with the rigs, because Tech 1 and Tech 2 rigs, prices in the billions for the Excel ones. That should have a really big impact on this. So we've got materials, and then we have salvage materials. Let's start with the normal ones, and let's take a quick look here. We've got data points for the alloy titanium, for instance, definitely spiking up from 17.5, and the market is empty of them. So that's an indication that people have made a move. Here are the armor plates. Not that big of an impact on armor plates. Maybe that's not in the products that are needed. That's possible. Or has it reset already? No, it hasn't. Okay, artificial neural networks. That's a nice little spike right there. So those are obviously used. Started below 2,000, now 21,000. That's a tenfold of the price. Holy, look at that, tenfold all of a sudden. You could have made 10 times your ISK if this is actually selling at this price. Of course, we'll need to keep a close eye on the salvage market as this evolves, but that's just crazy. You started below 2,000 and they're now selling for 21,000. That is absolutely crazy. It looks like not all of them will be used here, so not all of them know that big spike, although a lot of them have been going up lately. So it could be that some people have speculated on some of these beforehand, but this one, that's just crazy. Artificial neural network, tenfold of the price. Here we've got conductive thermoplastics, very big jump on this as well, from 12k selling now for 54. Oh my god, the chart will still need to catch up on a lot of this. Look at that. Again, 5.5 times the price. Oh my god. So that's still okay. It seems that it's like those blue ones. 2.2 million? Okay, that's actually normal. For a moment there, I thought something really crazy was happening. Let's continue out on the list and see if anything here. Current pump 40k. And start at 3k, again 10 times the price. Yeah, it's definitely some select ones that are used a lot in those rigs that that have just gone bonkers. Drone transceivers here, they're now going for 43,000, started at 5,000, almost 10 times the price. So of course, for the big money, you're a little bit too late. Here is the impetus console, double spike, starts, well, it used to be below 10,000 ISK, it's now going for 80,000 ISK, which is way above the chart even. So yeah, definitely mean that opportunity is over. The question is there over speculation? Will people be able to like produce this stuff in vast quantities, bringing the price back down? That's a possibility as well, of course. But it is very interesting. Here is the intact shield emitter. Let's put the price at 210k or maybe 200k before, and now 292. So that's not too big of a jump. May have been that people have already been speculating on this one. But you can definitely see that some of them that have been mentioned in the dev blog, without a doubt, have gone up crazily, like 10 times in price. Here we've got microcircuit. Isn't that tick 2? Started at 6k, it's now going for 24k, 4-5 times the price. All right. Well, luckily it's not across the board, so some other rigs will still be cheaper to make. But here we've got power conduits, 40,000 start, now 240,000. You could even have bought them for 20,000, so around 10 times the price on some of those. That's pretty, yeah, pretty amazing. And then I guess that ancient salvage is actually tied to tick 3 and will not be impacted by this. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. So it's really all about these salvage materials right here. And yeah, as we've seen, some of them have gone up 10 times in price here. 8,000 for a trigger unit. Can imagine that those are used indeed. 25,000, so 4-5 times the price here again. Salvage, yeah, huge moves have happened because of the dev blog here. And well, if you made the right gambles, you've made a huge amount of money right there. Let's also take a look at the isotopes, which I think I have in my quick bar. Helium isotopes, let's see, they went as low as 700. What are they going for now? 708. That's not too big of a jump. Nope, this not either. Okay, interesting, because I thought all of these would be used in the new fuels. Let's see if there's an impact on Amar fuel block. Not that much. Kaldari fuel block, those are going up. Look at that, up to 20k now. Yeah, almost, but you also have a sell order that's pushing it back down. Okay, interesting. I'm actually seeing an impact on the fuel blocks themselves, not on the isotopes. Maybe I should take a quick look at the ice materials then. Materials, ice products. Okay, let's take a look here. Heavy water. That's actually already been, it looks to me, if we look at the heavy water here, then it looks like that's actually already been speculated on, because we already knew that a new type of fuel block would be needed. And so it seems like it's already included in the price. There's not a big impact on the fuel components themselves. There's a bit of an impact on the fuels. Interesting, I thought it would be bigger, but of course the numbers that I saw as well for the production were not that high either. And if then the usage actually goes down because it's only tied to the actual usage of services in your Citadel, it could indeed be that the impact here is not that big. And then finally, I guess, well, there's still the PI stuff, but I would need to go into detail about which ones are used to create that stuff. There will obviously be an impact for that, but it's the minerals as well. So let's maybe take a quick look at the minerals, see if there's anything to report here. Isogen went up in price, is actually going down and doesn't look like it has stopped unless something happened here. 118, nope, right there on the chart. Here's Megasite still going down, Mexalon at 65, so just stopping its descent, but that was to be expected if we looked at supply demand last weekend. Here is Morphite. Here is Noxium jumping up a little bit, but seemingly stopping already. Then we've got Tritanium doing nothing special. Here's Pyrite finally jumping back up a little bit, crossing the 20-day moving average, but I doubt that this is due to the dev blog. Here we've got Tritanium. and then we've got Zydrine right here, still going down towards 1050. So the impact on the minerals is not immediate. I still think it's going to happen because you will need a lot of minerals to produce that stuff, but it's just not going to be as drastic as the salvage materials, which is what we've seen here, tenfold on some of those. That would have been the best gamble of the year, I would say. But it's just the impact on the other goods like minerals and like the fuel seems to be pretty limited. I still think that minerals will be impacted by this. Maybe it takes a little bit more time for people to actually start to really stockpile them, or maybe new players that decide, okay, we actually might want to go for a Citadel now, will start to buy up for that or save up for that. It's also possible that with the minerals we'll actually have to wait for the deployment itself for them to really be impacted, when we actually see demand from parties that are not prepared to start to pick up, but then that will just be a double whammy for the rig materials, of course, for the salvage materials. So definitely very interesting times, and well, the big opportunity obviously lie with the salvage materials, which I did not bet on. I have a few other bets that should do well, but they've not like jumped up tenfold like the salvage materials have. Anyways, that's it for this quick extra ETH talk concerning the dev block around the Citadels. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.